Hey guys, just wanted to make this commentary during the Weekend 2 beta, just to kind of address, I didn't think that video I uploaded talking about like my initial opinions of the game would get get more than 100 views, let alone like almost 400, and as many comments as it has, and as many back and forths as I've had. And I'm actually really glad that a lot of you guys have not had the same experience as me. That's really good to hear, because I was hoping that mine was hopefully a minority. Like my experience, my rather unpleasant experience has, it's been a fluke. I got really bad luck, and that's pretty much what it was. Whether you be on PC or console, especially you guys on PC, like I'm glad to know that, there are no bugs, there's no abundant glitches, the gunplay is clean. They managed to flip whatever the console, I guess, is it UI or mechanics into the PC version. It's pretty flawless. So I'm happy because, you guys on PC have been getting like the short stick for years. Like since AW, I think World War II had some bugs too. And if you go way back further than that, I think it gets worse and worse just because you guys got the patches and everything like months or a month after everyone on console. It was just really sad. And that, the Xbox versus PlayStation debate would always, push you guys to the back. And I always thought that was really unfair, especially since like, back in the day, I think, was it TBNR Frags and TBNR Kenny or whatever? Some other gamers actually played on PC. And, it would just get brushed under the rug, like any complaints they had about the PC version. So I'm very, very glad that you guys are actually having a very good experience. But I kind of wanted to address the fact that, the comments in the comments section on that video where they, just saying like, I'm just complaining about campers, or like I'm picking and choosing my complaints and I'll just complain about something else next year, or that I'm just a person that jumps on a bandwagon and just loves to complain or whatever, or I'm just hating. And I like to think I'm not one of those basher commentators, the ones that just find anything and everything negative because negativity sells. That's pretty proven in journalism and mass media. And, they just beat on a game, they name call the developers, they insult them, whether or not it's, part of an act or, part of a persona. I don't know if they're being sincere, but, like Blame Truth or 8 Thoughts or some of the other ones, that's why I like Exclusive Ace. I like looking at Charlie Intel. If I'm ever going to look at COD News, I look at them because, they're willing to promote and they're willing to compliment where it's due, to praise where it's worth it, and then to criticize and talk about the negative aspects, because not because they hate a game, but because they wish it would change. They want it to be better. If you truly like something, you're not afraid to criticize it because you want it to be better, not because you're just going to go with the flow just because, you don't want to, ruffle any feathers or, worry about insulting someone. You do it because it comes from a place of, I want to see this game, be great again. I want to see this game go back to how, what made it great in the first place. And that's, old COD. Like I go back to old COD and I see how far things have changed. And not even that old, actually. I think Black Ops 4 in 2018 had pretty much a lot of the old gunplay mechanics. And once you jump over to Modern Warfare 2019, it kind of just slows down significantly. And it's crazy to see that. Even in Cold War, it's not quite as fast as, BO2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 3, Ghosts, but, it's pretty quick compared to, the other 3 games, and it's I guess its other 3 brethren in the category of recent COD games. But I kind of just wanted to address the fact that, the reason why I talk about camping and talk about campers so much is that back in the day of old Call of Duty, because I've been a part of the community for, I guess if you want to say multiplayer wise, it's been since 2011. And if you want to talk about like Call of Duty in general, 2006. My first Call of Duty was Call of Duty 2 Big Red One on the PlayStation 2. Even has like the greatest hits logo thing. I still have the PS2 box in one of the rooms in my parents' house. But like, I've been here for a while, so I like to think I understand how things have changed and where we've come from. So like back in the day, it used to be kind of like a rock, paper, scissors kind of play. Like I'll use Black Ops 1 as an example. So because camping was a big thing because of Ghost, because they took out stopping power. So the next logical step was people to pick Ghost. It wasn't Flak Jacket or Lightweight or anything like that. It was Ghost because it was so damn powerful. So people picked that because, UAVs were pretty much on everyone's kill streak list. So having Ghost was just really, it was too good to pass up. So the fact that, the camper and, with a FAMAS or a shotgun or whatever, it was pretty prevalent. They would be in a corner, they'd have a claymore guarding one entrance, and they would just be corner camping looking at the other one. It was pretty ridiculous how common it was. But if you bumped into someone like that, you had a means to dislodge him. The rock, paper, scissors play. You had Flak Jacket Pro, You had explosives, you had C4, grenades like Semtex, and TacMax Pro, which, if you had, let's say, for example, I guess I think it worked on stun flash or even a gas grenade. But like if you used it and it hurt and like it actually hit the other player, it would show you on your crosshair like a yellow bar what direction they were in. So you knew exactly where they were. So you had the means to kick them out. So they would be hurt from the explosive, they would be stunned or flashed, and then you just run in and get them. So it was as easy as that. And even if you didn't have TacMax Pro, you had Hacker Pro. So it's almost like Engineer or Sitrep where you could see the claymores. So you knew exactly there was someone there or something was there. So they were just means to counter the camper. And if you didn't decide to go like with the frontal assault, and you just happened to be like maybe a more aggressive Ghost player, then you put on Ghost. You had Hacker Pro, so you knew exactly where the claymores were. You were immune to the motion sensor, so you just went all the way around the map. They couldn't see you with the spy plane up, and then you killed them. It was that easy. And if you wanted to just be a hyper aggressive player, you put on either Steady Aim Pro or Sleight of Hand Pro with lightweight, and you just went around and ran and ran and ran, and your reaction speed, all your player mechanics were faster and better than everyone else's. So it gave you a distinct advantage in that respect. But of course, you showed up on the radar, and you didn't have any protection from explosives and whatnot. And if you didn't put on Hacker Pro, then claymores would be your doom. So it's kind of just like a rock paper play move where like everyone just kind of countered each other. But nowadays, a lot of that like arsenal for the rusher has been removed, and a lot of extra cards have been put into the hands of the campers. And that's the point I wanted to get out of. I was just really frustrated because it just sucks when Infinity Ward asks for feedback and then we're just ignored. One of the cards in the hands of the campers now, which helps them more than anyone, is the lack of a mini-map. And you could argue saying like the rusher can now fire his gun on the move and not have to worry, but there's no dead silence and there's no ghost until you get your ultimate perk later in the game. So you show up on the radar as soon as a UAV is active, and you're very, very loud when moving, which, of course, the player that isn't moving very much is going to be able to listen to you if they have even a decent headset. So that's the problem there. So for example, let's say I'm rushing and then, someone that's camping kills me. If there's no UAV up, he doesn't show up on the radar. And, I'm a solo player, and I think most of us are. And even if we're not, if we're like in a group or like, group of three, we're most likely in our own like PlayStation parties. I'm talking from a PlayStation perspective. So it could be different on Xbox and PC, or, if you use a Discord or whatever, but you're probably not coordinating like in the lobby itself like it used to be in the past. Like everyone had their mics on, everyone was chit chatting. Of course, you can mute them if they were talking too much, if their mic was really bad. But, it's not like in the past where everyone has their mic available and can give call outs, even if you're not part of the same team. So if I'm a solo player by myself, I'm not communicating, or my teammates aren't communicating with me, that camper kills them. And because they don't show up on the map without a UAV, if you're not paying attention for the skull, then you're not even going to see where the person died. And if you're like busy doing something else, you're not going to notice it at all. So that camper basically just killed your teammate or you, doesn't show up on the minimap. And, the only one that's aware of this person is, the solo player, the guy that died, basically, or basically the guy, whether it's you or another player, the guy who died. So, it's just, there's no coordination there like it used to be in the past, and there's no immediate indicator that, someone is there camping. So that just puts that in, if you can see where I'm coming from, that really just puts it in the camper's favor, more so than the rusher. So, hold on, let's backtrack back to the Ghost and the stopping power comparison I did. It's not exactly the same thing, but when I mentioned that stopping power was removed from BO1, so instead people started using Ghost because why not? In this case, Ghost has been moved as the ultimate perk, so I think you get it if you get on a long enough kill streak or something like that. It's not like the second one where like you get the second one eventually as long as the game progresses. But the point is that Ghost is no longer occupying the same spot as perks like Battle Hardened and EOD, or basically Flak Jacket. So I really do appreciate you guys, like TCOS saying that use the drill charge, to dislodge the campers. It'll drill through the wall and explode on the other end. You don't have to even go in. But unfortunately, they eventually wised up to the fact that, people are really going to try to get them out of their camping spots. So they got a little wise and decided to strap on those two perks or one or the other. So, it's like, and why wouldn't they? Like, they're not punished for it. Like, as much as I really like praise the pick 10 system, or I guess the pick 13 if you're looking at Advanced Warfare, as much as I praise it, the combination of having like low profile or Flak Jacket or Ghost and Flak Jacket is a little too powerful. I will admit that. So hopefully that goes back to, I'll get back to that point about only talking about negatives or only talking about like being very biased in my opinions. I'll get back to that. But basically, they're not punished anymore for having both like EOD and Ghost. You can have both, and that's a very, very powerful combination for a camper to have. And it's almost worse than what it was in the older games, because at least in the older games, you had to pick. You had to pick between Flak Jacket or Ghost. You didn't, or Scavenger and Ghost, or, Lightweight and Flak Jacket. You had to pick. You couldn't have so many advantages in one person. So, again, that just makes it ultimately more favors for the camper, and why, I mentioned what I mentioned. Like, anyone and everyone who has a different playstyle can have this combination, but, with the way things are set up now, with the footstep volume, the lack of a regular mini map, and then basically the fast TTK, and then just, the reducing of, I guess, movement exploits, basically, without like any kind of substitute. You're not getting the old gunplay that you had back in, the older COD games where raise times were fast and ADS speeds were fast. You don't have that in this game. So almost no advantage for a rusher and a lot of advantages for a camper. So that's why I was kind of upset, because it's like, it's kind of unfair. I like fairness at the end of the day, and that was just really unfair. But okay, going back to what I mentioned about I guess the pick 10 or pick 13, where like I kind of want to get across that I don't just acknowledge the negative or the positive. I try to find both and disclose both. It's not just me hating, it's not just me bashing, or like someone said, where like I'm just gonna pick something new to hate on every single year. I try to think critically about this. When you put yourself in a black and white kind of look, and you firmly ingrain yourself to think only one thing, and you don't push to make yourself open to change, then you're just setting yourself up to fail, and you're not growing and learning as an individual, and that's a terrible mentality to have. So I try to not do that, and I'll give you guys some examples. I mean, for Ghosts, like that, I hated the maps. I really, really did. That was the biggest thing I hated about it, was the maps were too big. And because I half played on the PlayStation 3 and another half on PlayStation 4, there was no ground war on PlayStation 3, so I had big maps with only a 6v6. So it was very slow, and I did not like it at all, coming from BO2, which was, for the most part, pretty fast. Because running and gunning was, I guess, the narrative of the time. People just love running and gunning with an MSMC or a PDW or an AN94 or a SCAR, or, just an MP7 or a Vector. That just was the name of the game. And then, there were quick scopers. It just, the narrative of the time was be fast and quick, because I guess that's what the big creators were doing. But, anyways, going back to the point. So, I can make that division between the two. Ghost had terrible maps, but it had good gunplay. I liked it. The TTK was kind of fast, but, I learned to accept that, because, I had played Modern Warfare 2 with stopping power. I was used to a potentially fast time to kill. It was just kind of jarring, because it kind of slowed down a little in Black Ops 2. But, I was okay with that. TTK was fast. Gunplay was great. I thought the weapons were pretty fantastic. The field orders, like the unique ones, like you could... whatever the remaster of Favela was, like you could get an AC-130, which I really think they should have brought into Ghosts anyways, but you could get Michael Myers, you could get the alien from Alien vs. Predator, like it was, the Predator from Alien vs. Predator, so you could get that, which was incredible. It made wanting to like go for the field orders and be aggressive, like it enticed you to want to be the person to get the first field order by getting first blood. So like, again, it really helped the gunplay there, even in the pace of the game, even though the maps were big, or something. Well, yeah, I'd say a decent number of them were pretty big. So, they did kind of, with DLC maps, kind of cut them down a little bit and trying to make them not so open and large. But, there were things to praise, and I tried to praise that whenever I could. I just, being negative about the maps, just really was tough to move past. But Infinite Warfare, I was kind of when they copied and pasted the mechanics from BO3, but I love the sheer amount of DLC weapons. There were so many guns, but the supply drop system I hated on, because you basically locked it behind a wall, and an RNG system, which I didn't think was very fair, because we all paid like a full price for this game, and we don't get access to all the content. So I thought that was kind of weird. But I enjoyed Infinite Warfare Zombies, one of my favorite iterations of Zombies, because of all it's basically, I guess, because like it's movie themed, like there are a lot of pop references, there are a lot of movie references, and I freaking loved that. It was so fun to play that. It was great. I loved it. Infinite Warfare Zombies was fantastic. And just overall, I thought that the gunplay of Infinite Warfare was great. It was snappy, it was clean, it was fast, and like I loved the boosting mechanics, because as a rusher, that really helped me rush. Same thing with Advanced Warfare. I hated the loot crate system, but the movement, I loved it because, it was the first time with advanced movement. I was a rusher, being able to rush and, boost jump, like instead of jump shotting, it was boost jumping. I could turn on people while boosting in the air and potentially, turn on someone or get someone off a head glitch by boosting in the air. And it was so rewarding to do that. It felt rewarding to be a rusher because you had all these tools at your disposal to basically, if you encountered anyone, you would possibly be able to, beat them. And, it was just good knowing that, this guy was waiting for me and I managed to outplay him. Like just knowing that, and I had the tools and I had the confidence to do it. And now, it's in current Call of Duty, those, same perks and those same quick raise times and quick ADS speeds are no longer part of the game. And that's, basically my big issue is that they're taking away movement, like the movement exploits, which I'm not a fan of. I don't like it, but they're not giving us anything. They're not giving us the old gunplay back, which made those exploits basically unnecessary. I firmly believe that if they brought back the very fast raise times and the very fast ADS speeds, no one would feel like they have to do any movement exploits. There'd be no bobbing, there'd be no bunny hopping, no slide canceling, no corner hopping. You wouldn't need that because you could recover from a sprint so quickly that, it's you play smarter, not play harder. Like you find the most efficient, simple means of winning and you do it. And that was what old Call of Duty was. And that's what made it so basic yet so, I guess, simplicity is in a way like a very like the best in a way, because if it wasn't because they won the gunfight from an exploit, if they decided to, you had like this close quarter gunfight, they won because they had a better gun, they won because their aiming was better, or maybe they won because they did a jump shot or a drop shot, which these are all very, very simple conclusions to come to. It's not because they exploited the mechanics to somehow get around you or mess with the visuals because they did a slide cancel. It was just basic things you could chalk it up to and you could move on. It wasn't like this right now or like it's just frustrating to deal with. So yeah, basically I would gladly switch the current exploit movement system with the old gunplay system. And that's just basically why I really like going back to older Call of Duties and why, I kind of went off track there a little bit, but, I can hate on a game and I can also give criticism and I can also praise it. I'm not locked into just being a hater. That's not the way it is. Even Modern Warfare 2019, I praised the graphics, music, and what's it called? Sound design, like, the actual noise from like the backgrounds. I praised that. It was fantastic. But the map design and the fast time to kill was terrible for me as a rusher. That's why I barely played it. So for those of you, like that one guy saying that, I'm just going to give in and just play it and, I should just shut up because I'm going to end up playing it anyways. I didn't do that. I didn't play Modern Warfare 2019 very much. I barely uploaded it. Vanguard, I've uploaded maybe 4 or 5 gameplays for the whole year and the rest have just been the music. So if it's not fun, it's not worth my time playing, I'm able to critically think and make a decision, myself. I'm not just going to go with the crowd and just because I paid for it, I'm just going to stick with it. I'm only obligated to do what I promised, which was to provide in-game music because for some reason, they're only uploading OSTs to sites like KH Insider, like Zephyr or whatever, like, those sites where you could download in-game music for free. But for some reason, they're only uploading like the official soundtracks and not like, game rips of like the files with the audio and the sounds and the music. So that's why I'm here now, because I like listening to it. It's upsetting when it gets removed, like, the multiplayer menu music. I like listening to it because some of them are really, really good. Ever since I played Mass Effect, Age of Empires, Crusader Kings, these other games with, fantastic music tracks. I love video game music. It's a really, really good genre, and I like listening to it like from time to time. So that's why I record it so I can have a record of it and hopefully share it with you guys who also enjoy it. So that's all I'm obligated to do, and that's probably what I will do. I probably won't be playing much of the game and uploading it, so apologies if you're looking forward to that, but it's just not my thing. And then I guess I'll just end it on the skill-based matchmaking argument, as being a good reason for that. I'm not a fan of it. And, there are comments saying that I'm just probably hating on skill-based matchmaking, or I'm just hating the game because, skill-based matchmaking is giving me tougher matches. And that's upsetting, but that's not a rule, like a game breaking thing for me, or it's not like an absolute like rule of thumb that I can't play it because of skill based matchmaking. I played Advanced Warfare, I played Modern Warfare 2019, I played Cold War, I played the games that had high skill based matchmaking, and I found a way to cope, but that's not the point. The point was that in a casual game setting, like lobby setting, matchmaking setting, if there's no obvious indicator that we're getting rewarded for, playing progressively more difficult like lobbies, what's the point? Like, we're just playing it as casuals just to have fun. That we paid full price for a AAA game that, we should be able to enjoy however we please. If we want to play hard and tough one game and then play easy and, fool around the next game, like, we shouldn't be punished for that. If I play, like, for example, I like sweat my ass off and I get a really, really good game, and I decide next game I want to just run around with a right shield and a pistol, I'm going to get destroyed by people bunny hopping, slide canceling, jump shotting, and I can't just, I can't go like, go for a right shield game, or I can't go for pistols only, or I don't know, I can't go for like a non-meta LMG. I can't do that because I'm going to get absolutely destroyed. And whether or not, you're just not taking the game seriously, it doesn't feel good to be destroyed. It doesn't feel good like to be constantly dying and dying and dying and seeing, a negative KD. Regardless of how serious you take it, it's still not a good feeling. So it's just like, in order for me to have a good game, then I have to do badly multiple times until I'm put into like easy lobby. But I don't feel rewarded for destroying people that I can obviously tell aren't, as dedicated or have as much time to play the game as I do, or haven't had as many years of experience. Like, they're head glitching in a not opportune place, or they're kind of out in the open, or like their shots off a lot. It doesn't feel good to beat those kinds of players. It just kind of feels like I'm punishing them for me being punished, or for me being rewarded for being punished previously. I'm getting rewarded with an easier lobby, but then I'm punishing these players who aren't as good as me, who are just stuck in lobbies with people just like them, so they're not learning any new skills, and it just doesn't feel good. So like, I think we should all agree that skill-based matchmaking, like strong skill-based matchmaking, only belongs in a ranked system. If you're casual, just keep it like randomized matchmaking. Just make it so anything's possible. You could get a game where everyone's really bad. You get a game where everyone's really good, or most of the time, I think law of averages, you're going to get a game where, a couple people are really good. Several people are okay at the game. They know how to play the objective. And then other people at the bottom are new to the game and are trying to learn the ropes. So they're going to learn it like the rest of us learned it, which is, basically the Call of Duty hazing, where like you get destroyed. Like I got destroyed for months on end in Modern Warfare 3 up until the end, and into BO2, the beginning of it. I got wrecked. But then I slowly learned the gunplay, how to play the game, and then I got better. That's how it works. You don't get better by isolating yourself with people just like you. That's basically a video game version of almost an echo chamber. It's like, when it comes to skill, that's not going to help you. That's just going to, isolate you and just make you repeat what you're already doing, and that's not helpful. And I guess the worst part of it, whether or not you agree with skill-based matchmaking, you have to agree that it's really, really bad for, partnering up or partying up with people that are of different skill levels. Like I'm a solo player because my friends, online that don't play Call of Duty or haven't played for years, or they play other games, they don't use the meta weapons. They don't do any of the movement exploits. They're not, they don't play the game every single week or every single month. They're not used to ADSing immediately after sprinting. They're not used to sound whoring or whatever. They're not used to all that stuff. They don't do that. So when they come into my games, when I party up, they're almost assuredly or most often put into games where the skill cap is a lot higher than what they're used to, and they don't have a good time. That's why I don't party up anymore with my more casual friends, because they don't enjoy it when they party up with me. So that's why I play by myself, and so that's not fun. That's punishing me for being better, and it's punishing them for just being a part of the same group as me. So it's like that's not fair. And we all we pay for this game full $70 just so that we can't play with our friends who may not be as skilled as we are, or who are other friends who may be more skilled than we are, but we don't want to party up with them because we don't want to have sweats in our lobbies when we play with them. So we just kind of play by ourselves. That doesn't seem right. So anyways, yeah, that's just my point, guys. Hopefully I come across with the fact that, I'm not just this bandwagon hater, or a bandwagon guy that just goes with the flow and, will just complain about it now, but then never think about it again, or just bandwagon it and just, find something else to hate about it without acknowledging any of the good points. So no, it's I'm capable of doing that, and I've done it for years. It's just, at the time, I guess I should have thought out my response a little bit better. I should have thought out exactly what I was going to say. I was just very emotional because it's frustrating. Nothing's changing. They ask for feedback and they don't listen to us. It's just, I don't know. And then seeing where we've come from and coming into this, it's just discouraging to see like how far it's fallen off, from the formula that made Call of Duty so great in the first place and why we all loved it, and just see it shift so far and just see them definitely catering to a certain kind of consumer is just, favoritism. And it's not, I just don't like seeing that. But anyways, I'll stop talking, guys. This video's already long enough. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this response was good enough to kind of put across home, or put, the point across that, I'm capable of acknowledging all aspects of a game, whether it be positive or negative. I have, my reasons for doing so. I have I have the history to do so because I have the experience. And I just hope that you guys can kind of understand like where I'm coming from here. As a guy, like I said, who's been here for years, who saw how things worked in the past, to see them try and reinvent the wheel when they really don't have to, when that wheel was what made them so successful in the first place. And, I talked about fairness. It's just not exactly fair when it's becoming more and more obvious they're clearly catering to a certain type of consumer who has that particular kind of play style that's being catered to. A consumer who I can only imagine, doesn't care too much about the game, isn't so invested, doesn't play as much as the more dedicated players who would be the ones to basically criticize. So Activision is probably incentivized to cater to a player who gives them $70+ for a game. They're not going to play that much. They're not going to, there's not going to be much server load at all, pretty much. And of course, they're not going to complain about the game. So obviously, why wouldn't Activision cater to them? It's more money, less problems, and it just works better. Why wouldn't they do that? They're basically pulling a Disney, more, raise the price, cater to the people that are willing to pay for it, and then just scrutinize the ones that are most likely to complain. That's basically how it is. But, it's just, it is what it is, and I want the game to be good. I paid money for this. I want it to be fun. I want it to be able to appeal to not just the more passive players and the ones that obviously hate the movement exploits, which I do too. I hopefully made that clear. But also, makes an even playing field for the passive players and the rushers, the people that agree with me that they're not having such a good time in this game either. So, just give it a chance. I just wish that Activision and Infinity Ward would just take the criticism and give it a chance. Do the pivot that Sledgehammer did with COD World War II, where they gave us Infinite Sprint, they gave us Specialist, they gave us a revamp of the divisions. Like, just give it a chance. Give the criticism a chance while it's still the beta, and just give it the same chance that I'm hopefully showing that I'm giving you. I don't know. That's all I can hope for. Just please give it a chance, Activision, Infinity Ward, or whoever's listening to this, or maybe not them at all. I don't know. I'm just talking to no one, basically. But anyways, yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed the commentary. Definitely be back with music, but not so sure about gameplay. I really do want to go back and record older Call of Duty, because the more years that go by, the more hackers that show up, the harder it is to get gameplay. I think they just recently dropped the dedicated servers for Black Ops 4. Now it's peer-to-peer, I think. So that sucks. So before they do that to other games, before other games become almost impossible to get good games without meeting hackers and exploiters and glitchers, I think I should just go and record them. So I'll probably be doing that. So hopefully look forward to that. But thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully it's enlightened some of you guys that may have had certain opinions about me. And yeah, thanks guys. Have an awesome day. I will see you all in the next one.